Hello. You can see that I've got all of my supplies here today except for my paintbrush. And this is just a little bit to serve as a reminder and for us to kind of walk through and find some of the things that we need. We're going to shift gears a little bit today from painting our landscapes, and we're going to start painting still life. So you need some of the other things from your supply kit. So if you think back, you got two different kinds of paper. You got the paper that I'm calling your sketchbook paper, which was the longer paper that was folded in half. And we've used quite a few of those sheets, so you can see all of the different sheets that I've used so far. I had 4 of these left. And so I've pulled aside one of them. We're going to use one of those today. The rest of these I'm going to set aside. The other paper that I gave you were these little like postcard sized watercolor sheets. And you probably used 2 of those for your landscape paintings. Now, you'll notice for those final landscape paintings that I did the videos a little different and that they were in chunks or phases, and that's because our paintings, as they get more complicated, because of the water aspect, they will need to dry and be worked on in layers and be worked on in multiple steps over either different times after things dry on the same day, or you'll work for a while today and then you have to let it dry and you'll work for a while tomorrow. And typically it takes like 3 or 4 painting times before a painting is finished, and that's kind of a normal part of working with watercolor. So if you try to finish these all in one like 15 or 20 minute go, like following step by step along with the video, it's actually impossible. You can't do that. It has to dry in between, and that's why I'm constantly in the video going, okay, this is dry, or it's dry enough. And that's sort of something you're going to need to get used to, because from now on things have to dry in between. So I'm just going to hang on to some of the rest of these postcard papers. I'm going to set those aside as well. We don't need those. So, but I do need to find these other things that came with the kit, which are these photocopies and this weird piece of like black tissue paper. We need not the faces yet, but the bowl of fruit and this black tissue papery stuff, which is called transfer paper, and our plate of peaches image. You will see that my image looks a little different from your image in that I've added some shadows. Those shadows come from this painted version of the still life. And you can see that we will need those shadows as we're making the painting to kind of make our painting work and look 3-dimensional. So it would be a good idea for you to kind of pause the video right now and go ahead and add these shadows in. So you can see I added in the shadow under the peach, under each of the peaches, right, just until the edges of the plate. I added the shadow underneath the plate, and then this kind of larger, darker area. You could, if you want, also like try to estimate where some of the rim of this plate will be, because that will also be a shadow. But it will be one that we kind of paint in underneath this line, this edge that we've got there already too. So that one will work out. So go ahead, pause, and add your shadows to the image. Then what I'm going to do is, and I've colored mine in just so you guys can see them better. You do not need to color yours in. I am now going to take my watercolor paper right here, and I'm going to make a little stack. So I'm going to put my transfer paper down on top of my watercolor paper so that it is darker side down. So you can see this, the darker side of the paper, this is the lighter side of the paper. Darker is down to the watercolor paper. Next, I'm going to take my image, the peaches on the plate, and I don't necessarily want them to be like smack in the middle of the plate. I want it to be a little more interesting than that. So I'm kind of lowering it and putting it off to one side. So you can kind of adjust where your plate of peaches goes on your painting. And I'll give you some variations for what you can do with the background as well. If you can find a paper clip is super handy right now. I could clip this together and nothing will move. I can't find a paper clip. So what I'm going to do is just hold my page and this little stack with my hand. So you can see that my hand is here. And now I'm taking a pen or a pencil and I'm simply going to trace over the lines of my peaches here and the shadows and the plate as well. The transfer paper is reusable, so you do not want to throw it away after you're done today. You want to keep it. We will keep using it. And the transfer paper is pressure sensitive, so it's just like a regular pencil in that if I push a little lighter, it's going to give me a lighter line, and if I push darker, it's going to give me a darker line. I do not want to go and trace back over anything because I want the lines on my watercolor paper to be really light. Before I take this off, I think I've traced everything, but because I'm talking and not concentrating that much, I need to double check. So notice that I'm going to leave my hand here, and I'm just going to lift this up a little like a book page. And oh, holy moly, I have not done a very good job of transferring that at all. I have missed this whole like middle peach and most of this edge of the plate over here. So I'm going to go back and add this plate in. And I'm going to add this peach because I missed it entirely. Also missed the bottom of that one. You'll also be able to adjust like the pressure as well. So like if you notice that you don't think that you pressed hard enough, you can press a little harder. Like I said, we don't really want the lines to be super dark. You just want to be able to see them on your page. I think now I have it all traced. And so because I think I have it all traced, I'm going to go ahead and move it out of the way. And so you can see here's my image. Here's my transfer of the image. So this is all ready for paint. So go ahead and transfer your image and we will talk about painting in the next video.